What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 9 coming to you with another video game review. And in this review, I'm going to talk about the game WWF Super Wrestlemania, which was released on the Super Nintendo by LJN and Sculpture Software, and the Sega Genesis by Flying Edge and Sculpture Software. And this is essentially the first WWF slash WWE game released on the 16-bit consoles and everything. Now, there are some similarities and differences between the two versions. The first two, like the first, not technically the first two similarities, but there are two similarities between the two, which are both versions have a singles match, one-on-one match where you take a wrestler and face another one. Then you have the tag team matches, the tag team match, and the Survivor Series elimination match where you have four wrestlers face off against four other wrestlers and stuff like that. Plus, as far as the roster is concerned, both versions have Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Now, this is where the differences come in at, where with the Super Nintendo version, the roster consists of 10 wrestlers besides the three that I mentioned. The Super Nintendo version pretty much got Legion of Doom, which is also known as the Road Warriors. Then there's also the Natural Disasters, Sid Justice, later known as Sid Vicious. You got Jake the Snake Roberts and the Undertaker. Now, the Genesis version essentially has 8 wrestlers, which essentially include Shawn Michaels, Papa Shango, the British Bulldog, otherwise known as Davey Boy Smith, Irwin R. Shyster, and the Ultimate Warrior. It's the one thing I don't get is why all of these wrestlers aren't on both versions of WWF Super Wrestlemania. To me, all of them should have been on both versions, especially like our Shyster should have been on both of them for sure, because him and Ted DiBiase were a tag team called Money Incorporated, and they won the WWF Tag Team Championships together. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely should have been on both versions, much like the other ones, like essentially the Road Warriors, Natural Disasters, Undertaker. I can go on. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the Genesis version essentially got the WWF Championship mode where you take one of the wrestlers and face off against the other ones on the roster in 7 specific matches to win the WWF Championship and stuff like that. Plus, the Genesis version essentially have the wrestlers on the roster do their signature slash finishers. You know what I'm saying? Like with Davey Boy Smith, he had the power slam. Hogan had the leg drop. Uh, Shawn Michaels got the sweet chin music. I'm not like too familiar with IRS's finisher or Papa Shango's either. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, they got all of them on the Genesis version. Got theirs and everything. Now, the graphics and design are okay, pretty decent, with some pretty decent color palettes. You know what I'm saying? The controls and gameplay are pretty okay. You know what I'm saying? I just wish there was one particular publisher, either Flying Edge or LJN, to be the publisher for both versions. Mainly because all of the, like I said earlier, all of the wrestlers on both versions should have been in both versions. You know what I'm saying? like I said, the 7 wrestlers that's on the Super Nintendo version should have been on the Genesis version, and the 5 that's on the Genesis version should have been on uh, on the Super Nintendo version. Essentially, both versions should have had all the wrestlers that's mentioned in um, each version of Super Wrestlemania. You know what I'm saying? Making the roster bigger. You know what I'm saying? And both versions should have had the WWF Championship mode, and both versions should have had all of the wrestlers perform their signature moves. You know what I'm saying? Like Undertaker should have, like I said, Undertaker should have been on both versions with him doing the tombstone in both versions and stuff like that. And as far as the soundtrack is concerned, the 16-bit rendition of each wrestler's entrance music is pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? Well, overall, WWF Super Wrestlemania is a decent game that should have had one publisher working on it to its benefit, having a bigger roster, having the WWF Championship mode and the signature moves on both versions and everything. I'll say that the fact that they dropped the ball in terms of having a bigger roster or an additional mode on the Super Nintendo version, and the lack of signature moves on the Super Nintendo version. But as far as the score, I definitely give it a 7 out of 10 overall. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, you can sound off in the comment section about WWF Super Wrestlemania. What you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. You can mention which version you prefer. And if you like this video, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. This is your boy Big Metro Fan 9 signing off.